Welcome Amakhosi Network, welcome to the channel. Today we're chatting about Kaizer Chiefs shoppering Sekhukhune United, and we're gonna chat about some good things that happened, some positive things. There were a lot of lovely things I saw in this game, but there are also some things that we do have to touch on, because you know me, I can look at the nice things, but I also have to look at the bad things. Why do I say I also have to look at the bad things? Because the bad things are oftentimes the things that let us down, and we cannot, because we won, now act like these things don't happen. So let's chat about that. Before we get into that, please like, comment, and subscribe. You know what it is. But anyway, let's get into it. Kaizer Chiefs had, I would arguably say, what have created some of the best chances in the PSL so far. Better than Sundowns, better than Pirates, better than Stellenbosch. Kaizer Chiefs, with the team that we often say needs quality, is actually dishing out a lot of chances. The only problem tends to come good, we can't control the game. We allow teams back into the game. Those are the things. Because the thing is that it's not realistic to be a high attacking team, but it's also easy for the opposition to score against you, because then you have to basically be scoring every game, because maybe your games are going to finish 5-4 for you to win, or those kind of things. But in saying that, our defense hasn't been bad, but sometimes they could have been saved by the strikers scoring goals. But let's chat about what we saw in the game. Bruce Obuma, one quality save in the first half. He did well. The nice thing about the game, let me say this. We cannot ignore the fact that we need a goalkeeper. Yes, Bruce Bvuma kept a clean sheet. We all agree he kept a clean sheet. But we cannot forget, we cannot now, because he kept a clean sheet, act as if our problems are solved. Our problems are not solved. Why do I say this? Because Sekhukhune barely attacked us. Sekhukhune struggled to get to our pole. They struggled to get to our box. I haven't checked the stats, but I can't even recall a lot of shots on target. I recall that one strike from far, but other than that, I couldn't remember really where they were testing Boom. But anyway, so in terms of Vuma's rating, I'm going to give him a 6 to 6.5. When he was called on, he did his job 100%. Bradley Cross, I am glad Nabi told him to stop going up and running forward, etc., and joining in attack. Now we feel solid at the back. Now it feels like teams are struggling to even create that one chance that they often create. And it feels like once we are consolidated at the back, we have more chances to create up front, because it doesn't feel like we are open at the back. And that's one thing that Nabi had to change in his tactics, not having a left back who's going to go forward, because we haven't practiced a structure where our defensive midfielder comes back and joins and all of those things, or it hasn't worked out, even if it was tried. Bradley Cross, I'm going to give a 6. No, 6 is too much. Bradley Cross, I'm going to give a 5.5. He did his defensive duties, but first half they were cooking him. Luckily for him, he was getting cooked by a player who can't create assists and who can't score goals, and that's Otladis. Otladis, for all the hype, all the pace, and all the skills he has, he does not know how to get into the box, and he does not know how to pass his players. So we are glad he can dribble, but his dribbling does not benefit anyone. And then Miguel and Dudley. Dudley is continuing to make mistakes here and there. I'm going to give him a 5.5. I want him to get better on his mistakes. Miguel, captain performance, I'm going to give him 6 to 6.5. Blom is going to get a 6 to 6.5. Defensively, we were solid, but he also helped us going up front. There were moments he would invert and like help creating the midfield. Like he has an awareness that is nice to have. The only problem with Blom is, what can I say? The only problem with Blom and his side is just that our right side isn't very creative, unlike the left side. I don't know why it makes it like this, but the ball on the right doesn't often move the way it's meant to move, But one thing I'll say that it has been much better, it's not having Duba on the right wing, because Duba can't move on the right wing. And one thing that actually was perfect, and I'm going to talk about, is having Matlou also on the right. because Matlou actually added a number that Ublom doesn't often get. And that number that he got, it helped because Matlou does runs behind defenders, it pulls defenders away, then Abo Potsani cut into the middle, then Blom now finds these passes. It made his life a bit easier. But at the same time, Potsani and them, sometimes they don't position themselves the best way, or when they do position themselves the best way, they don't use their brain because they always pass backwards. And when you pass backwards, you have to start the move again, and so sometimes you just want a player like Potsani to get the ball, turn, find the pass in the middle, make a run, those kind of things. But anyway, so Blom, I'm going to give 6 to 6.5. Mteto for me has been solid in a lot of these games, 6 to 6.5. The reason why I'm giving 6 to 6.5 is that he does his job well. He does his job well to disrupt play, etc. But if you are now expecting him to now give champagne passes and all of those things, it's not what he's here for. He's here to play the Katsande role. Katsande was not known for champagne pass. No. Katsande got the ball and passed yay. Katsande got the ball and passed in pure Tshabalala. Katsande got the ball and passed George Libis. Katsande passed people who knew what to do with the ball and people who wanted the ball. Yeye always wanted the ball. Shaba always wanted the ball. So they put themselves in positions where they can get the ball. But now what tends to happen now is that Umthetwa would always get exposed because he would find himself with players who hide themselves. But luckily in this game, funny enough, in this game, Matlou Zwane and Matlou always availed themselves to Umthetwa. And we saw less passes where Umthetwa was passing astray. We actually saw less of Umthetwa playing. We saw him do the dirty work. And that's why having ball-playing midfielders does that. When they avail themselves, get the ball and make a play, even if they have to pass Umthetwa back, but they always made sure good they don't pass Umthetwa and leave him hanging. They made a sure good they try open a space so he can pass the next person. Why I say this is because the biggest thing about a midfielder who plays with a defensive midfielder who can't pass is the midfielder has to think for a player. The best midfielders in the world know the abilities of their players. What do I mean by that? The best midfielders in the world will know Umthetwa is Agasim Nandi on the ball. So you have to pass him at a specific time. The best midfielder knows when to do certain things. For example, Miguel is not good on the ball. So he's not someone who you should always just pass in any situation. Whereas Dudley is. Dudley you can pass under pressure and you know he will be fine. But it's a smart midfielder who has to read their players that way. To be like, okay, Umthetwa is not nice in this position. Someone is coming from behind him. I must not pass Umthetwa. Let me try look for another pass. Or if I do pass Umthetwa, I must go support him and tell him man on same time. Because that's how you have to function as a midfield. You need to know your players. For example, Yeye Litulunani never used to give Katsande the ball in a position where the pass was not obvious for Katsande, or if he was put under pressure. Because he knew Katsande is either going to have a struggle with the first touch or he's going to end up having to cover someone. So that's how you know your midfielders. But anyway, let me jump to Matlou Zwane and Matlou. Matlou had a brilliant offensive game. Defensive game, it still needs work. His defensive game still needs work. But the one thing I like about Matlou, and this is the nice thing, one of the beautiful things, actually one of the amazing things I like about Matlou, he works hard. And because he works hard, you don't feel the absence of Matt when Matlou is on the pitch. Matlou will always add a number the way Matt adds a number. He may not be as defensive as Matt, but he will arrive where he needs to arrive and cause disruption or put pressure under a player. And that is where Matt has always been making sure he gets in the starting lineup, because Matt adds a number in important places. So Matlou did that. Matlou Zwane, not too much, but the nice thing about Matlou Zwane is that he drifted in the spaces where he's not exposing himself. He didn't go too far where he opens up a space into the middle, and he couldn't go too far back where he almost has to start the game. He always received the game the ball in a position where even if he loses it, he's not losing it in a point where Chiefs can get hurt. He was receiving it in areas where he has control. And the thing about Samkelo Zwane always needs to receive the ball in a place where he's not close to our box, and he's not there's not a lot of players around him. He often has to find himself getting the ball in areas where he has the advantage already. He knows where the players are at stuff. And you know what causes that? It's his movements. If he moves into the right spaces himself, he will receive the ball at the right time, like right space, right time, and where he's in control. But if he allows the game to pass him, and someone just passes him, and the game is passing him, that's where you see Samkelo Zwane getting hurt. Like the Sundowns game, the game was passing him. That's why when he got the ball in that position, he was not ready to get the ball because the game was passing him. But anyway, that's what happened there. So Samkelo Zwane and Matlou, I'm going to give them both 6.5. I think Samkelo got man of the match because he played the full game. If Matlou played the full game, I think he would have also been in line to get it because they were releasing those passes. Whatever. I know a lot of people were maybe arguing with me about my comment on Samkelo Zwane yesterday, but my comment on Samkelo Zwane is still simple, guys. Samkelo Zwane cannot play in patches. He has good touches, but he cannot play in patches, and he must be careful of putting the ball in the air. Samkelo Zwane has this habit of playing township football in the PSL. The thing about township football is that you can make mistakes because there's hardly anyone pressuring you. No one is pressuring you in Kasi football and stuff like that. Because when you play at Dustin, and anyone who's played at Dustin will know this, when you play at Dustin, you can't just run at full pace to a player. Because if the player just sharpens you at the zipper, you're going to end up that side by the crowd because like it's the ground gravel. You don't even run full pace there by the dust, but you can't run full pace because your cogs and your shoes, they don't have grip. So if you do the wrong thing, you'll find yourself getting a shibobo, but you're only stopping 5 kilometers. As Spa, you are already buying people drinks, but so that's the thing. So that's why I'm saying the one thing Samkelo Zwane needs to learn. PSL players aren't good with first touch, so you need to always make it as easy as possible. You need to find a way to unlock a player by passing the ball on the ground, etc. Because a lot of Samkelo Zwane's passes, if they're too much in the air, we don't have the quality in the PSL to really trap these balls that are in the air and stuff. You need to carpet football it. You need to figure out a way to carpet. You know, when Samkelo was doing carpet football, the ball moved. He would even get the ball back when he played carpet football. But the moment he would chip it, it would be difficult for the ball to find him again because that player would have to trap and he would end up kicking the ball back to the defenders and all of that. So that's my take on Samkelo Zwane. The next one, Modi and Botsane. Good energy, good combination, not enough. Good energy, good combination, not enough. They don't do enough. So that's what I have to say. Duba, good movement. He will get his goals. I feel like he needs to continue playing. Nabi must not take him out. Let him continue playing in that role. He does that role very well, and eventually the goals are gonna come. Eventually, because Duba is getting the chances, but I feel like he's yet to get the chances that he can put in the back of the net. He often gets a chance where he has to make something out of nothing. But I feel like the chances where he can just kick tap-ins or get one-on-ones, they are coming and he's going to score them. So that's what I wanted to say. So Utuba, I'm going to give a 6. Modi and Botsane, 5.5 to 6. They need to do better. Someone would even argue Botsane maybe 5 only. But yeah, they need to do better. But at the same time, I will argue this. Maybe they are doing their best. Maybe this is all they have. So I don't mind. This is my point. When Botsane was signed by Chiefs, I didn't like the signing. But I get his energy and I get he's good for the involvement of the team. He can progress the team from the midfield to the attack. The only problem is that you can't rely on him to finish the move. Look at Mfundo Vilakazi. Mfundo Vilakazi came into the game. He had basically 3 shots at goal. which Potsani couldn't have. Potsani couldn't do anything in the team in the first half. Mfundo Vilakazi scored a goal. He missed basically a one-on-one which he created for himself, and in the second half he also got another chance where he took a shot and it was just wide, or he had a deflection. So that's what I'm talking about. In terms of the substitutions, I won't talk about them. Matt was a sub. Some people are saying maybe we're being too harsh on Matt because they think he had a good game. They think he did take the right chances and stuff like that. And this is going to be my honest opinion. You guys don't have to believe in my opinion. My thing is that Matt cannot be hot and cold at the same time, because one day we're going to suffer the consequences of him being cold. Sometimes I just want Matt to have good moments and then just to do basics, but Matt will have good moments and bad moments. So you can either score from Matt's chance or concede from Matt's involvement in the game. It's a very, very bad thing to have. You can't have someone who takes your controlled game and gives it to the team, because when Matt came into the game, we lost control of the midfield because we were giving Sekhukhune a chance, and we should never do that. But other than that, Nabi and the technical team, I give them a 6 to 6.5. I think it much better display. We're just hoping for new players. And one thing I wanted to say is this. I think a lot of us may eat humble pie with Morris' signing, because Raga Chivavero is not scoring goals, but at the same time, he's not doing anything with the ball. If because Morris comes from proper academy football, Morris comes from proper AX Cape Town development. So when Morris gets there and he just does what the striker needs to do, I think we may be eating humble pie. He may not be scoring 11, 20 billion goals, but he may be adding to a dimension to the play that actually makes us good. Because I have this idea that I think Terra may actually have recommended Morris not as the first choice or second choice, but as the cheapest choice or in the market, or the cheapest choice to get from SuperSport. Because I think Terra was at AX Cape Town at some point, and I think AX Cape Town, Terra was there when Morris was there. So I think in terms of development, Terra was there, and he knows the qualities of the player. So he knows the disadvantages and advantages of the player. His best seasons, Morris's best seasons, I believe, was at AX Cape Town. So if he can have those seasons again at Chiefs, then it's chances that he will have a better career at Chiefs as well. But anyway, we'll see how that happens. Amakhosi for life. New signings must come.